Welcome inside the VUTV studios for another edition of Valpo Sportsnite. With the basketball season getting underway shortly, today's show will be completely dedicated to previewing the 2012-2013 Valpo men's and women's basketball teams. My guests today know a thing or two about Crusader basketball: Andrew Stem, WVUR sports broadcaster, and Mark Westendorp, VUTV basketball insider. Let's get things started. First segment will pertain solely to the women's team. With that being said, what is the biggest challenge with this new women's coaching staff this year?
I'll take it. All right. My biggest thing is with the challenge when you switch coaching staffs is just getting everyone on the right page offensively and defensively.
Sure.
Try getting the lingo right. Everyone try and mesh together. Like the coaches have to evaluate the talent. Players have to get used to the way the coaches work. So it's just a little bit of a different mesh that you have to work on at the beginning of the season before the games start.
Well, and you look a big freshman class coming in, kind of a new influx of talent. And realistically, you look at some of these players, and it's kind of like they're starting over. Sheree Richardson was out all year. Yevi Ansone came in the middle of the year and kind of blended. But Shakira Scott tore her ACL, so she kind of had 5 weeks worth of games and then was gone. So you have a lot of new or underutilized players who are coming in and trying to learn this new system, and that may actually be an advantage for Coach Doro and her staff as they get started, because you have a bunch of players coming in who can kind of learn together. And you look at some of the upperclassmen, you look at Laura Richards, Tabitha Gerardo, Gina Lang, those players, nice and coachable, and they should be really willing to come in and learn and kind of understand and sort of grasp that system right away.
You mentioned some of those players. What's the mindset from their standpoint with the new regime coming in, you think? I
think when you look at it, this is a team that was pretty solid defensively for the most part. You take a look at a lot of the games that they lost, and I think it's not a gross miscalculation to say they lost those games because they couldn't score. I mean, they would hold teams to fewer than 60 points and still end up losing games like 56-42 or something like that. Getting the ball in the basket was their big problem. And when you can play as solid defensively as they did last year throughout most of the season and still come in and just try to refine some of those things on offense, it has to make it a little bit easier in the coaching transition, I think, for Coach Doro, because you know they can play well defensively. Right. Now it's just trying to refine the offense, bring in her offensive system, and kind of trying to get things going that way.
And her team back at Ferris State, where she previously was coaching in Division II level, their team was known for being a little more upbeat, scoring more points, so that's going to help out as well, because that's one of her expertise, I guess I'd say, is like working with the offense over the defense.
And you take a look then, and you talk about some of the depth issues that this team had a year ago. At times they were playing basically six and a half, 7 players the whole time. And now to come in with this big freshman class and hopefully to get everybody healthy and stay healthy to be able to play that little bit more up-tempo system. If they can get 10 players playing somewhere between 15 and 25 minutes a night, that's really where you want to be.
Okay, looking individually now, your preseason MVP pick for this women's team?
Preseason MVP, pretty clear choices, Tabitha Gerardo. She comes off of a great year last year. She's picked second team preseason All-Horizon League this year. But also someone to watch out, he mentioned earlier, is Sheree Richardson. She's a new explosive guard they'll have in the backcourt. That's something that they haven't had in recent years, so it's just something to look forward to as a potential to take over Tabitha for team MVP.
Gerardo, not only just a vocal leader, I think she brings some intensity that has sometimes been lacked over the last couple of years. I know her freshman year, just a double-double machine, and I think she's carried that over into her next couple seasons as well. So I like that pick, Tabitha Gerardo. Again, a veteran presence on this Crusader squad with the new coaching staff. I think she can kind of bridge the gap, too, vocally between the coaching staff and the players, which is something that's key to a successful team.
I could cheat and take his pick because Tabitha's absolutely an easy pick. I'm gonna step out of the box a little bit. I'm gonna go with Jessica Carr and Shakira Scott, a couple of sophomore guards, only because when Timmerman came on there at the end of the year and started making three-pointers, that was really when the Crusader team started winning games. Things were close. They started playing real well in February when she kind of came on, started making those three-pointers. If Scott, who had a few solid games in the 4 weeks before she tore her ACL at Ball State, Carr had some big games here and there. If they can consistently be making three-point shots, because they have some nice, solid inside presence, both with Gerardo and with Gina Lang. But the problem was they couldn't make outside jump shots. And teams were kind of compacting in on down low defensively, daring them to win with jump shots, and they couldn't make those shots for most of the season last year. If they can hit some of those big open jump shots early and keep other teams from focusing in on either Gerardo or Lang down low, that's going to allow the offense to open up a little bit more, find more lanes to the basket, and make it easier for players like Gerardo to score down low.
Well, no doubt both those players will be a key to this team this year. With all that being covered, give me your overall prediction for this upcoming year.
My prediction would be right around 10 wins, I'd say, is reasonable, except for if things do click sooner than expected before the conference season during the out of conference, that they could jump it up to maybe 500 would be a successful year.
Now 10 wins, that's what they had last year, so you're saying they stay the same.
I'm saying they will stay the same. Okay. I will say better, as in they won't be able to drop off. They'll have more depth this year. There's a lot of players that weren't there last year. That's why they were picked last in the conference, ninth out of all without Butler anymore. There's not 10 teams. So they'll be able to have more depth, so they sub more, and they'll be able to up to maybe 5th or 6th.
Okay. Well, to your point, too, I think you can see improvement, but still have the same amount of wins. The non-conference schedule this year, much tougher.
Yes,
so they could improve, but again, stay at 10 wins. So I like your point saying that they might actually improve from top to bottom, but not necessarily get more wins in the column.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. You will see them win more games in the Horizon League. They will be better equipped to challenge some of the teams in the bottom half of the league and kind of fight for that 5th, maybe 6th or 5th position, as Mark was mentioning. But like you said, they host Indiana. They're going to Duke. They're going to Michigan. Second game of back-to-back swing. They play in Kalamazoo the night before, and then in Ann Arbor the next night. So the non-conference schedule has really gotten beefed up, and if they can hang in with those games and learn from playing some of those difficult teams and not get too beaten down to the point where it's demoralizing, but then take that over into the Horizon League play. This is a team that, as was the same case last year, will be playing its best basketball in January and February.
All right, guys, when we come back, we'll dive into the men's team, who cracks the starting 5, and which new addition will have the biggest impact. Those questions are answered next here on Valpo Sportsnite Basketball Preview Edition.
Hi everybody, I'm Dick Vitale of ESPN, and I'm on VUTV. It's awesome, baby, with a capital A.
Lollipop, lollipop, oh la.
We say what we want, Thursday nights at 7 p.m., only on VUTV.
Back here on Valpo Sportsnite, again, I'm joined by Andrew Stem, WVUR sports broadcaster, and Mark Westendorp, VUTV basketball insider. Time now to turn to our focus to the men's basketball team. Guys, 5 players from last year are out due to transfer, graduation, or other medical issues, respectively. But several new faces were showcased on Saturday. Are the new additions collectively better than those who left the program?
I think you look at the guys who come in and some of the talent that has come in, and they fit the roles of what they're going to be asked to do a little bit better. You look at somebody like Bobby Capobianco, who transferred from Indiana, who was a top 100 player when he was recruited by Tom Crean to go to Indiana. You look at Vashil Fernandez, big athletic guy, 6'9", get up and down the floor pretty easily. You saw that dunk against St. Joe's on Saturday night. And just guys who are coming into the system. Alex Rossi, a pure shooter when he's on. Guys who just coming in are asked, the roles they're asked to be filling, I think they fit those roles a little bit better than the guys who were on the team a year ago.
Speaking of roles, before I get to you, Mark, Vashil Fernandez is an interesting one for me, that he didn't look that sound offensively. I don't think he's a guy that you can just throw it into the low post 10 times and say, go to work. But I think what he can bring is a defensive presence that no one else in this Crusader team can bring with his length. I mean, his hands are down to his knees practically. It's unbelievable.
He's a guy you can throw in the middle of a 2-3 zone and has the agility to go back and forth from one block to the other pretty quickly and be that factor that you see from somebody like Detroit when you saw that a year ago. Their kind of interior defense that kind of caused problems, and Vashil can be that same sort of guy going from block to block and causing havoc down low in that 2-3 zone.
Point being is that I think the expectation level on offense shouldn't be too high, but I think what he can bring defensively will make up for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you looked in the St. Joe's game, he didn't have a ton of actual blocks, but every time a guard goes into the lane, they see him right there, so they're going to throw up a shot that they normally wouldn't want to do, put a little too much arc on it. He's just an intimidating factor down low. And another thing I wanted to point out with Alex Rossi is some people might have thought he was the least impressive of the new people that just came to Valpo, but that was his first game in over a year. He had never really played at Cal because he's been hurt with a hip injury. So that was his first time actually on the court playing for a while. So once he gets the feel of it and gets back into shape, he'll definitely improve. He led us with 6 assists, so he clearly knows how to play the game, try to find people. So I'll look for him to get better as the year goes on as well.
Bobby Capabianco, one of the new faces as well. I think you can kind of throw out his numbers in Indiana, like you do with a lot of these guys, because the bottom line is he is a Big Ten center coming into the Horizon League. So I think he has that advantage going for him. He sat out an entire year, got bigger, faster, stronger. And I think he's just going to dominate through this Horizon League schedule. Don't you guys think?
Well, and I think absolutely. And he's one of those guys you look, and Coach Drew likes to get up and down the floor, likes to be fast in transition. And you take a look at these new guys who are coming in, both Bobby and Verscheel as big man, and they can get up and down the floor quickly. And the nice thing about all these additions is that, you know, they roll 10 or 11 deep pretty easily and can sub in 1-5 with another 5 if that's the way Coach Drew decides to do it. And you can get up and down the floor and just kind of run teams into the ground. And it's good to have some nice athletic big men who can get up and down the floor and basically go 5-on-3 in transition if you can get a break like that.
Great point by him, because lately in practice they've actually been working on getting down the court in 3 seconds. After we score or after the other team scores, we get back in 3 seconds to back defensively or push on offense, just get up and down the court as much as possible. Another thing I think people don't realize about Bobby is in high school he was a big-time scorer. And he feels like he was underutilized at Indiana, and he's excited to come to Valpo and kind of be a center point. He led us in scoring in the first game. He's really excited to show us what he really can do.
Even step back and hit a 3 as well. Granted, he banked it, but he shot 3 of them and looked good doing it. He looks like he's capable of making 1 or 2 a game, and that's something that's very underrated. If you can have a big man that can step out from beyond the arc, man, that's what a valuable weapon Bobby Capabianco might be.
And envision him being on the floor at the same time with both Brokoff and Van Vyk, and now all of a sudden just clearing out the lane and either taking the big post presence and then getting a mismatch on Van Vyk down low and just saying, go to the block every time, I will get you the ball. Or just clearing the lanes, letting Brokoff get into the lane and do what he does so well, finishing at the basket. It's going to be fun to watch.
All right, we got to move on, even though I love that topic. This team returns the entire starting lineup from last season. Crusader guard Ben Boggs is one of them. Here's what he had to say about his role on the upcoming year.
My role is probably going to fluctuate through the year. Whatever the coaches need, whatever I feel in games I can help the team with, whether it's rebounding, passing, scoring, diving on the floor for loose balls, just whatever I can do.
Respond to what he had to say, and who cracks the starting 5 this year?
I actually am glad that we picked Ben Boggs for this little segment here, because he's actually my pick for a breakout player. People saw it Saturday as well. He played excellent, hit a couple threes. He looked really much more aggressive. He looks better fit, in better shape. So he could be a good player that will break out, as well as Bobby, like we were saying earlier. Bobby more likely to get maybe some Horizon League honors because he could get maybe 6th man if he doesn't start, newcomer of the year, maybe first team. I think Ben will be more of a glue guy this year that actually will help much more than compared to last year.
But who makes your starting 5 then? Give it to me top to bottom.
My starting 5 is I got Eric Buggs at point guard, Will Bogan shooting guard, Ben Boggs, Ryan Brokoff, and right now Bobby Capabianco, just because Kevin Van Vyk is still nursing that knee injury. I believe when he comes back, he will fill in for Bobby. We could, like we were mentioning, we could go big, but I don't think we will to start out with Horizon League's more of a guard-forward league, so we match up better. But it is great to have that at our disposal when we go play at Kent State, at Nebraska, at New Mexico, at St. Louis. So it'll be nice to be able to go both ways with that.
I have to agree with him wholeheartedly. I mean, I think he hit it right on the head. And going back to Boggs a little bit, you like having guys on the floor who have the ability to do a lot of different things. He said he's not afraid to rebound. He's willing to pass the ball. He's willing to do whatever Coach Drew asks him to do. And you like having guys like that on the floor. And when you look at the starting 5, if the guys who are coming off the bench, if guys like Matt Kenny can still be comfortable in that role, and Rossi and Capabianco and Fernandez can all be comfortable in that role of coming off the bench like the guys you saw last year, I mean, the starting 5 should stay the same because the starting 5 was pretty good a year ago. You know, they won the regular season conference title. They did a lot of good things. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. And, you know, just let these guys come in and get everybody used to their roles. And I think once you see guys settle into their roles, kind of understand what they're being asked to do, be like, look, you're not going to be a starter, but you're going to be coming in the first 5 minutes, and then you'll play starter-type minutes. and guys can get real comfortable in doing that, you'll see everybody sort of gel, and this will be a team that will really take off.
You guys might be right on the money, but I want to disagree with you so bad. What I would like to see, as I mentioned before the show, Buggs at the point, either Bogan or Boggs at the 2, Brokoff sliding into that 3 slot because he's so versatile. I think he was underutilized beyond the arc last year. I think he gets back to that this year. And then you got Van Vyk, obviously coming off a 14-point per game year, very good down low. And then I like Capobianco in the starting lineup. I don't think you can diminish his minutes because his impact is going to be felt throughout the Horizon League, and I just would hate to see him come off the bench. I think he would be underutilized if he comes off the bench. And why not go big? I guess is my question for you guys.
I mean, I think that's something that you'll see happen, not necessarily as a starting lineup, but that could be if Coach Drew maintains the same substitution pattern where you get the guys coming in somewhere around the 14, 15-minute mark of the first half, and you bring in those. That's something you can see. You can see Bobby come in and Kevin take a seat, get his first breather, and then Fernandez come in, and you can see Brokoff slide over to the 3 and then see that 3-4-5 in some sort of combination. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if you see that out on the floor for 15, 20 minutes a night, not just necessarily coming in right away and coming in off the bench.
Why not go big, Mark?
I think one reason actually came from the game on Saturday is St. Joe's was a fairly athletic team. Even though they're Division II, they just didn't have quite as good of fundamentals, but they still were able to go around us a couple times where there's mismatches size-wise. Like we'll be able to mismatch them. We'll have 6'8" Bobby or 6'7" Ryan on a smaller player on offense, but I think Bryce is more focused on the defensive aspect of it because the offense is going to come no matter what. It's just the defensive aspect of it that some teams might be a little quicker. Youngstown State, they have a lot of quick players. Cleveland State's known for it. Detroit. So it really depends on the matchup at the time.
Let's switch gears now individually, guys. Ryan Brokoff had an exceptional campaign last season, winning Horizon League Player of the Year, as you guys all know. Excluding him now, who has the chance to break out this season and potentially win Horizon League Player of the Year?
Well, like we've been loving him up so far, might as well keep going. Bobby Capobianco. He has the versatility to shoot, play inside. He's gonna be able to rebound, big body, play defense. So he's pretty much the clear pick. Besides, you could also go with Kevin. As long as he stays healthy, he can still put up the numbers just like he did last season.
Capobianco even coming off the bench, you have him potentially winning the Horizon League Player of the Year. He's got to start.
I guess if you're going to go for Player of the Year, you got to start.
Fair enough.
He'll win some kind of awards this year for sure.
I mean, you guys covered all of them. So, I mean, I guess just like the women, we'll think outside the box a little bit. Once Alex Rossi gets comfortable, and I don't know if he gets comfortable enough to move into that starting lineup again, you kind of start to see guys fill in their roles. But he's a guy, the reports have been best pure shooter on the team. That if he can start to feel more comfortable, to your point, you said he really hadn't played in over a year. If he can start to feel comfortable not only with the sight lines and the arc, but just more comfortable in playing again and getting used to that, best pure shooter on the team, he's a guy who can get hot. We saw, at Detroit, Bogan lit it up. He hit all those three-pointers and kept the Crusaders in there when they finally pulled off that win on that last-second free throw by Buggs at Callahan Hall a year ago. But he's a guy, if he can consistently be making those threes and stretching out that defense a little bit, maybe not in terms of Player of the Year, but he could turn out to be one of the keys to the Crusaders winning a lot of basketball games because of the focus that will take off of guys like Brokoff and Van Vyk and Capobianco down low.
Here's the way I look at it. Bryce Drew, I think, will go with what's comfortable earlier in the season. He'll go with his traditional starting 5, potentially. He'll go with maybe that same 7 or 8 man rotation that he featured last year. But then as the year progresses and guys get more acclimated, I think you see a Rossi step up, just like Richie Edwards did last year. If you remember, he struggled early on, fitting into the system, getting along with Coach Drew, all that. He struggled with that. I think some of these new faces might need a little time to get acclimated, but I look for them to peak right when we need them towards the end of the year when that small rotation may come back to bite Coach Drew.
Well, and you take a look at what might happen, and it may hurt in terms of individual numbers because there's so many guys who can contribute right away on the team. They can roll 10 deep. You're going to see guys not be able to go ahead, and you're not going to have a guy play 35 minutes and score 17 or 18 points a game because that's not something you're going to need.
Okay. Let's move on. I mentioned Coach Drew. Now let's get into him a little bit more in depth. I want to get your analysis on how he's done so far in his tenure as a Crusader coach, but before we do that, let's get his thoughts on his performance through one season.
Well, I think you can prepare a lot, being an assistant, being around the game a lot, but there's always something new that pops up as the game, evolves, new circumstances, new things surface. And so I did learn a lot last year. Sometimes I think it's good not to know as much because then you can focus on just certain things, but definitely some of the knowledge of quick decision making, things off the court handling. Hopefully I'll be even better prepared this year.
Coach Drew comes off a Horizon League regular season title as well as an appearance in the NIT tournament. Assess his performance heading into his second year at the helm for the Crusaders.
Take a look at the first year, and people didn't really know what to expect with the Crusader squad. He led them to a 14-4 record in the regular season, tournament final, first round loss in the NIT, and I think it was a lot more than what people were initially expecting. And now you take a look at year 2 and get him more comfortable in what he's doing, a little bit more acclimated. Clearly, as he mentioned, being an assistant is different from being the head coach, and now you'll see him feel a little bit more comfortable and be able to spread out a little bit more and do a lot more things. And I think that's just going to allow his coaching style to improve as we go on.
I mean, clearly he's done a great job so far. He's brought in Coach Diebler, former player for VU, Coach Powell, and Coach Powell has actually been big with recruiting. We actually just recently wrapped up. We have 5 incoming freshmen for next year. That's supposed to be a really good group, kind of like what we had a couple years ago with Brokoff and Kenny, all of them together. And also, he does a great job during practice of just getting everyone getting chemistry up. Every time someone down's on the floor, everyone has to go pick him up. He's really doing a great job getting everyone to like each other and working well together, and that's one of our strong points from last season. That's the reason why I went from a 5th place predicted team to a 1st place, just solely because everyone knew what each other was doing, everyone was supportive, and so that was one of the underlying factors people didn't really see.
We're out of time for this segment. Final break of the program on its way, but on the other side, our quick hits segment of the program, and also our official predictions for the 2012-2013 season. Stay with us. You're watching Valpo Sportsnite Basketball Preview Edition.
Lollipop, lollipop, oh la.
We say what we want, Thursday nights at 7 p.m. only on VU TV.
Hi everybody, I'm Dick Vitale of ESPN, and I'm on VU TV. It's awesome, baby, with a capital A.
I'm Molly, and I'm on VU TV.
All right. We're from Kappa Kappa Gamma. We're on VU TV.
Hi, my name is Mike. I'm the WVUR General Manager, and I'm on VU TV.
We're always and we're on VU TV.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Aliana.
And we're on VU TV.
Hey, what's up? I'm Milk. And I'm Matt. We're on VU TV.
I'm Helen Dollin. I'm on VU TV.
Hi.
Hi.
My name's Claire.
My name's Sarah.
And we're on VU TV.
We're Kappa Delta and we're on VU TV.
I'm Rachel, and I'm on VU TV.
Hi, I'm Matthias.
I'm Hillary.
And I'm Philip.
And we're on
VU TV.
I'm Tom, and I'm on VU TV.
I'm Amanda, and I'm on VU TV.
Hey, I'm Ted, and I'm on VU TV.
We're Valparaiso Ultimate and we're on VU TV.
We're UPC, and we're on VU TV.
We're the Torch and we're on VU TV.
We're Delta Sigma Pi, and we're on VU TV.
We're Student Senate, and we're on VU TV.
We're Vuvox, and we're on VU TV.
We're Alliance, and we're on VU TV.
We're the Crusader Pep Band, and we're on VU TV.
We're Mesa, and we're on VU TV.
We're Handbells and we're on VU TV.
Hello, I'm Kathleen, and I am with Housing Opportunities, and I am on VU TV.
Hi, we're the Lutheran Deaconess Association, and we're on VU TV. We are Greek University, and we're on VU TV.
I'm ROTC, and I'm on VU TV.
I'm Zach Clark, and I'm on VU TV.
We're Sigma Phi Epsilon, and we're on VU TV.
Back here on Valpo Sports Night for our quick hit segment. Again, Andrew and Mark joining me. Let's play a little over-under, gentlemen. Ryan Broekhoff, Kevin Van Vyk, will they average more or less than 30 points per game?
I'm going to take the under.
Okay.
Solely because last year they were under 30 points. I think it was like 29
yep.
total, and then you're bringing in more factors offensively up and down the board. So their offense might take a hit unless Rowdy goes off this year, which is a possibility, but I'm going to take the under.
The under seems like a safe bet. Team scoring will probably be up, but those two guys, with the ability of everybody else coming in offensively to be able to spread the wealth a little bit more, they'll take the under.
Bobby Boards, one of my favorite new faces for the Crusaders. Bobby Capobianco, of course, is the guy I'm referring to. Will he average over or under 8 rebounds a game?
I'm going to take the under again.
Ah.
Just solely because we rebound well as a team. Like Ben Boggs is a good rebounder at his spot. Matt Kenny does a great job of rebounding. Rowdy's led the league in rebounds last year, as well as Kevin Vachio. So there's just so many different people that can rebound the way we team rebound that we might have a bunch of guys at 5 or 6, but I don't think we see anyone over 8.
I agree. The rebound burden, I think, is carried throughout the whole team, not necessarily on Capobianco, Van Vyk, things of that.
Yeah, the guards rebound really well. So also probably a good idea to take the under because, 8 rebounds a game seems like contingent on 30, 32 minutes a game. And he's athletic enough and could very easily get that, but right now not sure he's going to get that 30 minutes a game to be able to corral 8 boards.
Fair enough. Last over-under, 3-point field goal percentage above or below 35%?
I'm going to go ahead and take the over this time.
Hey, how about it?
Because we were a 34% shooting team last year from behind the arc. Ben Boggs stayed in Valpo all summer, worked on his shot, worked on his game, so he's going to be improved. Matt Kenny's shot's improving, and when you work with Bryce, your shot's clearly going to get better over the years. Bobby has potential to shoot over 35%, and of course you have Rowdy and Bogan still going to shoot right around 40, so I think we have a good chance.
He didn't even mention Alex Rossi.
Right, yeah, your guy.
So, definitely the over. And you take a look at what the guys can do offensively and adding some more athleticism down inside. Capobianco, Fernandez, now Van Vyk, all of a sudden you can grab defenders and bring them down just a little bit more, guys sagging off a touch more when they're playing zone. And all of a sudden you get that half second more of an open look, and you have high-quality shooters who can go ahead and bury those open looks. I look for you above 35%.
I think we all agree that the expectations this year are higher than they were last year coming into the season at the same time. Bryce Drew sat down with Aaron Levitt to discuss those different expectations on this year.
Our main objective is we want to take care of ourselves. And going back to last year, and the year before, this year, we're more concerned with results at the end of the year, standings at the end of the year. So our focus, whether we're picked 5th or 8th or 1st, is our team getting better, our team performing at the highest level that we can, and pretty much control the things that we can control.
Final topic, prediction time. Where do they finish? How many wins? Did they win Horizon League regular season title? Did they win the tournament title? Did they make it in the NCAA tournament? Give me your analysis.
I think we meet our expectations. We win regular season, and we're going to finish through and win the tournament this year. And I also think we have a chance without winning the tournament to get an at-large bid this year because we have a lot of tough road games. I think there's 7 out-of-conference games, include teams like Murray State, St. Louis, Kent State, even Nebraska, big name for Big Ten still, a winnable game. So I'm going to go right around 25 wins or so for the regular season.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I like the idea. I think they're going to tie in the regular season. I feel like they'll split with Detroit, and they're just enough tough other road venues. It's going to be really hard to win in Youngstown this year with a guy like Kendrick Perry on that team. Green Bay has always given this Crusader squad problems up there. Milwaukee isn't going to be a slouch either. So there's some tough conference games. 14-4, probably right about where they were last year, seems within reach.
In conference play.
In conference play, and some tough road games. It will be key to win 1 or 2 of those tough road games. And the good thing is that games like St. Louis and New Mexico and Murray State all come in December or later because it's still this team's still gonna need a little bit of time to come together and sort of gel. If they can win at Kent State early when they've been playing together for really just a couple of weeks, that will be a really good sign carrying on for the rest of the year. But take a look, and it would not surprise me at all if they upset. If they got at least one of St. Louis, Murray State, and New Mexico going out on the road, coming back, and then having that shot to possibly even get in that large bid.
I see an improvement over last year. 22 wins total last year. I see 23, 24 this year. I see them winning the Horizon League tournament, not only the regular season, but the tournament as well, due to the depth. Last year, we can all agree that the small rotation might have hurt the Crusaders down the stretch, only having 7 or 8 bodies that Bryce Drew was confident in. And this year, completely different. We mentioned how many new faces on this team. Adding to the already existing roster, I think the depth has improved. And, a product of that will be an improvement down the stretch, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
That'll do it for us. Remember, if you want to stay up to date on all your Crusader sports, you can log on to valpoathletics.com. For Andrew Stem, WVUR sports broadcaster, and Mark Westendorp, VUTV basketball insider, I'm Drew Taylor. Thank you for watching the 2012-2013 basketball preview show, and we'll see you next time.